What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 3. I believe this is episode 14. It's titled Softball Hard Shade. All right, you guys. I think I might post this in the community tab, maybe. This question. We'll think about it. So if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel, then I'm gonna need you guys to stop taking me out on this date. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, the share button, all the buttons on the channel, light them up. And with that out the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and discuss this episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? All right, you guys. So we pick up where we left off. Did we? Yes, we did. And oh God. We did in last week's episode with Tisha at Dr. Francis' office, right? So Tisha and Dr. Francis, they're still having this conversation, right? So we're talking about the rumors that are going around about Marceau and him allegedly having a side chick as well as having outside children, right? So she says that she doesn't believe the rumors, right? And he's like, well, what makes you not believe those rumors? And she says, because I go to Marceau and I ask because I go to Marceau and I ask him, are the rumors true? And he says no, so I am inclined to believe him. So then Dr. Francis is having another question for her, right? And he wants her, it's basically, I guess, how does she look at herself or something like that? Tisha doesn't know who Tisha is, and it's interesting, but it's also very sad, right? You don't know, and you do see this quite often when it comes to women when they get married, right? Especially if a woman gets married young, right? And she becomes a young mother and she's a young wife. Oftentimes you sometimes do see as women get older, they think to themselves, what have I done with my life? Who am I outside of being a mother and a wife, right? Some women go back to school and do things like that. So Tisha is talking about the fact that Marceau, I guess when they got together, she was very independent of him. But with the marriage, he wanted her to then become dependent on her. I'm like, I don't ever want somebody to become dependent upon me, right? And I've said this plenty of times about Tisha, right? I've said this. Tisha is dependent on Marceau to do this, do that, especially when it comes to the monetary side, right? And I've been saying this since last season, right? That Tisha, needs to be able to make her own money. So that way, God forbid, if something were to happen to Marceau, that Tisha has a skill set, has something that she can do that can help she and her kids. Like it actually happened to my grandmother. My grandfather, he passed away in a car accident, right? But he was the one that worked. After my grandfather died, my grandmother still had her children, my mother and her siblings, right? And my grandmother had to go out into the workforce and make a living so that way she could provide for her and her kids. So yeah, I just think Tisha, and then Dr. Francis is saying that, with the fact that Marceau wants you to be dependent on him, that might be attributed to and he's not saying that it is, but it could be a fear of loss. And I was like, wow, that's an interesting way to think, right? That it could be a fear of loss, right? Because I think about that, right? I do fear loss, right? But see, for me, with my fear of loss, I tend to push people away from me so that way I don't get close to you. That way I don't develop a connection with you, right? That is something that I might need to unpack one day, right? But that's my thing when it comes to loss, fear of loss. I don't want to get close to a person because if I lose that person, then I have to go through a mourning stage, and I don't like that. I don't like the mourning stage, right? So then we see Marceau, he's working. So Tisha comes down to the office, right? And they're talking about Scott Manor. Basically, Scott Manor at this point is Neverland Ranch or Chateau Charest. So Marceau was talking about, he talked to Uncle Mike, right? And he told Uncle Mike that they can't keep going down the same rabbit hole. So what Marceau did was he reached out to an architect, right? And The architect told him that it would be about $100,000 for them to start over. I'm like, what the hell y'all starting over from? Y'all don't even have, the last time we saw Neverland Ranch, there was nothing there. There was no foundation. Like no foundation, no nothing. Because you guys said it yourselves that you can't get up there because it had rained. So what are you gonna start over? I mean, unless you're talking about a blueprint, that's the only thing that you're starting over is a blueprint. Because there's nothing there. But he says he's talked to Uncle Mike and Uncle Mike wants another chance, right? So then they're also getting ready for this destiny race that they're gonna have, right? So it's basically a charity race. It's I think it's like a 5K race or something like that, right? So what they do is they write down their goals and you race towards it, right? And then they're also taking, donations that people can write off on their taxes. So then Tisha is talking about that she texted the ladies in a group chat, right? And she says that the only ladies that responded to the text message was Mel and Destiny, saying that they want to donate. So she didn't hear anything from Kimmy, and she didn't hear anything from what's that girl's name? Tiffany, right? So then Marceau starts talking about life and stress once again. My thing with Marceau is he's talking about they were supposed to build a hotel. They were supposed to do this. They built black. But the pandemic happened. Maybe all that stuff that you wanted to do is all good, right? But maybe with the pandemic happening, maybe that was to tell you, hey, you're doing a lot. Slow down. Slow down. You already have flourishing businesses, right? Slow down. Enjoy life. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your kids. Maybe that's what that was, right? So then Tisha tells Marceau about the conversation that she went back to see Dr. Francis. And she's telling him what Dr. Francis said to her. And talking about how she feels that becoming a mother and a wife, she feels like she kind of gave up who she was. He doesn't see it that way. I'm like, of course you don't. I mean, maybe like that really was kind of demeaning to say, oh, maybe you're supposed to be a good wife. Maybe you're supposed to be a good mother. Maybe you're supposed to be a good this. Maybe you're supposed to be a good that. Tisha might want to have an identity outside of being someone's mother, someone's wife, someone's daughter, someone's sister. She might want to have an identity outside of that. I could be wrong, but I don't think that I am. But let's move on. Love and Marriage Huntsville, I realize my videos for Love and Marriage Huntsville are always typically long because I am long-winded when it comes to this show. So we see Mel and Martell, right? So Mel and Martell, they're meeting up with the kids. So they're going to do this exercise that they got from the woman that they're doing the mediation with, right? So they're talking to the kids. So they have these little cards and they have the kids pull the cards and they're going to talk about whatever's on the card, right? So listening to the kids talk, they're very, very smart kids, right? And this goes back to a point someone made a few weeks ago when we were talking about the song, right? Male songs. You see how intelligent these kids are, right? I get that they're young kids, but those kids can put two and two together. And even if you guys look at the preview from next week's episode, those kids are smart. So they are able to put two and two together. Now, those kids are very smart. So they can get on the internet. And even Mel said it in this episode. We'll talk about it a little bit later, what Mel said. So the little boy, Martell Jr., he wants his parents to get back together. And I think all the kids would prefer for their parents to get back together, right? So then Mel and Martell's oldest daughter, she asked Mel, would she ever consider getting remarried, right? And Mel said right now, no. And she said, yes. And Mel was like, why do you say yes? And she was like, because I don't want a stepmother or a stepfather, right? And they were like, well, what if we went on say what if it's like a bonus mom or a bonus dad, right? Where, if mommy and daddy say no to something, then you have someone else that you can go to and ask a question, right? So then they also asked them how do they feel about, the kids spending time with Mel, but then also going and spending time with Martell. The kids don't like being bounced between house to house. The kids would prefer it if they were all under the same roof with one another, right? So then one of the other kids, I think it was her daughter, I think it was the oldest daughter, right? Asked Martell, does he have a secret? Actually, no, not even Martell. It was both Mel and Martell that she asked the question to, right? Do they have a secret crush? See, those kids have heard something. You can't tell me that those kids have not heard something. Those kids know something, because that's an interesting question that she asked, if either one of them have a secret crush. And I wonder if when Mel and Martell are arguing that the kids don't, because the kids did mention the fact that they do argue with each other, right? So I'm wondering if in the heat of the moment that Mel and Martell might think that the kids are not listening to them, but in fact the kids are listening to them, hear what they're saying. And that's because I'm like, that was very interesting that she asked if either one of them have a secret crush. Martell says, yes, I do have a secret crush. And it went to commercial, but it came back. I'm like, he's going to say the kids. And lo and behold, he did say the kids. But the other child, the other girl, the one that's up from the baby, she said, well, we know that. And she's like, but you have a secret crush, a woman. He was like, what do you mean? She's like, because I saw you guys going into a hotel. I was like, I know you lying. Like, Mel, why? And he was like, how did you know that? She's like, because I saw you, I was with mommy. I was like, oh my God. So Mel, you follow Martell to a hotel. I'm pretty sure it's with that damn Arian Curry. You followed him to a hotel with your kids. Why would you do that? How did you explain that to your child? Like, how did you explain that to her? I'm so confused. How did you explain to her that daddy is at a hotel, but that with another woman, and that's not mommy? Did you say he's on a bit? Like, how did you explain that? Oh, God. Terrible. Terrible. I'm not coming down on, well, actually, yes, I am coming down on Mel, because that was not the right thing to do, right? That wasn't the right thing to do. To put your child, you took your child to a hotel. Oh God, I can't get over that. So the kids go off, right? So Mel and Martell are talking. So Mel asks Martell, when does he want to tell the kids about their new, sibling? He says soon. And Martell's talking about the fact that he doesn't want to tell the kids with Melody. Why not? But Mel's thing is she wants the kids to find out from them before they find out another way, right? And it could be on YouTube, with, especially with, people who put it on blast, such as, I know, like Tasha K. Tasha K has talked about it. Who else has talked? Tasha K. I know some of, the people who talk about it on YouTube, right? Hell, me included, right? I've talked about the woman. So they can just, they can Google this stuff. They can YouTube this stuff. So I get Mel. Martell wants to drag his damn feet is basically what he wants to do. And he doesn't want her there. Why not? So then they talk about the meeting that he had with Chris Fletcher. She had with Chris Fletcher, right? And, he says that, he didn't even think that she wanted to build. And she says, because he says she's not in the construction. And she says, Martell, I've always been in the construction industry. I've been in there with you. So we have this back and forth with them. This argument at this point was not that bad because they eventually ended it. But Martell is downplaying Mel. Like, he really is downplaying her, and I don't agree with it. So we're going to pause here. Yeah, this video is going to be hella long. So we're going to pause here, you guys, and we're going to move forward. All right, you guys. So next up, we got the pop-up bride and groom's wedding anniversary, and they're on the baseball field. I'm like, oh, cute. So, so it's their friends and family there, and they're playing a game of baseball. Okay. I was pleasant. I was not. Oh no, I won't even say. I don't even mean to say pleasantly. I was bored. I was bored watching this baseball game with the pop-up bride and the pop-up groom. You know what? When I think about it, I don't even really have an issue with the pop-up groom. It's more so the pop-up bride. Still, even after her spilling her, because she really didn't spill that much of some tea. Because it didn't make me look at her any differently. I know I did say in last week's review that if maybe if we got that Tiffany, maybe she would be a little bit more likable, but I still don't think so, right? Because I still just don't like the woman, right? So where we at? So they ended the game, right? So then they go inside and they go. I think they're in the press box, right? So they're talking. Oh God. At this point, because I tweeted this, Mel and Martell they've argued for the 1,000th time, right? By the end of this season, we're all going to need to see a therapist. We all going to have to be in Dr. Francis' office saying, Dr. Francis, he's like, why is all of social media in my office? Because we have been ran ragged because of the arguing between the likes of Melody Holt and Martell Holt. They argue about the dumbest shit. They argue about the literal dumbest shit at this point, right? You could tell Martell and Mel, it's raining outside. And Martell would be like, oh no, it's not raining. Yes, it is raining outside, Martell. And then that would spark a whole argument between us, and you would be like, but I just said it was raining. At this point, I'm thinking they're gonna have to stop putting Mel and Martell in in a group setting, because it always get kicked off, right? Now in this one, they were, they were talking about how Martell was sitting there looking, right? I'm like, how is he looking? Shit. Martell always looked like this. What's so different about how Martell looks today versus any other time, right? So then Mel is talking about the fact that July 19th, I believe that's what she said. Oh, wow. So they must have went to Vegas. If this is post Vegas, they went to Vegas just before I got there. Because you guys know my birthday is July 16th. So they must have went to Vegas literally a week or two before I even went to Vegas. If we're going by, wow. I would have saw them in Vegas because they were literally right by my hotel. But hey, so July 19th would have been Mel and Martell's 13th wedding anniversary, right? Oh, this is where the argument ensued because of their wedding anniversary, right? And they're talking about how it might after the divorce, and you get to the first wedding anniversary that you guys are not celebrating, things are a little bit different, right? Why did they even have to talk about the divorce? Because then at this point, Martell decided to say that, nigga, and he referenced Kanye West. Dude, you referenced Kanye of all people. Of all people, you referenced Kanye. That's the last person you should have referenced, right? The absolute last person you should have referenced. So he's saying that he asked Mel for a divorce. I'm like, really? But all last season, you were on this whole trip of you wanted your family back. You wanted your family back. So how did you ask her for a divorce? And he's talking about the fact that she went on social media saying that she asked him for a divorce, which I believe that, right? I believe she asked you for a divorce. After she found out that she was having a baby with Arian Curry, I can't even say that I would blame Mel for asking you for a divorce. Like, you went out and had a whole other baby. No. So Martell Like I literally laughed when he said that Mel lives on social media. I'm like, you all live on social media. What in the hell are you talking about? You live on social media. She lives on social media. This whole entire cast lives on social media. The hell are you talking about, Martell? Boy, go away. Go away from me with this. So then, once again, in true Martell fashion, Martell decides that he wants to deflect, right? We all know Martell loves to deflect. Anytime someone is saying something about what Martell did, he always wants to flip it back and say what Mel did. So once again, Martell is trying to say that, oh, well, Mel cheated on me too. When Mel was going to these hotels, I don't know who she was with. Martell, at this point, I'm going to tell you the truth, buddy. I don't give a hot damn if Mel was cheating on you. What Mel did not do is Mel did not bring another baby into your marriage. That's what you did. So miss me with that shit, right? So the guys, actually, Lewis tried to tell Martell to, kind of calm down. Martell in his interview was about to say that a woman to stay in her place, and I want to know, what place is that for a woman? What is a woman's place? Chauvinistic vibes, right? So they split the guys up. So Martell, Lewis, and Maurice went outside. At this point, Tisha and Marceau left so that they can handle some business with the Destiny. What the fuck is that name of that shit? The Destiny. Damn, what the hell is the name of it? The Destiny race. So they did that, right? So Destiny was talking to Mel, right? Destiny has said the same thing that I've been saying on Twitter and on my reviews for a while now. When it comes to Mel, right, I get that Mel is upset. I get that Mel is hurt, right? But what Mel needs to do is realize that she's talking about what her triggers are, right? You have to realize Martell knows what your triggers are, and that's why Martell does what he does. He's doing it all to get a reaction out of you. So what you got to do is say, hey, I realize he's trying, you know what? He's trying to get a reaction out of me. Let me get myself together. Let me center myself and let me not engage. Because the minute that you stop engaging with him and giving him that reaction that he wants, he's going to leave you alone. He's like a pet. He's like a child. You know, like how, especially with that commercial, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. He's like that. He's doing that stuff so that you can scream at him. You can yell at him, be like, ha, 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 I got you. Once you stop giving that man that reaction, he's going to be like, oh shit, I can't get to Mel. So Marceau and Tisha come back. Marceau notices that the women are just sitting there, so he's like, you know what, something must have happened, so let me exit stage left, right? So he goes out there, and the guy's telling him Martell was being Martell per usual, right? So back inside with the ladies, Tisha is talking about the Destiny race, right? And she's talking about the text message that she sent out. You guys, I'm going to keep it real with you. With both Kimmy and with Tisha, I actually didn't understand what the issue was, right? So Kimmy is saying that, you know, when it came to that text message to the group, right, she would have preferred not to be a part of it, right? Like she says, T, you know I'm gonna support you with whatever you do, right? She's like, why come you just didn't call me? And Tisha's like, well, I didn't call you because I text you because I couldn't call you. And Kimmy was like, but that's never stopped you before. So I guess it's a communication issue. I don't know. I didn't understand it. You know, when I tweeted this, that Tisha was being passive aggressive in this next part, right? But then when I take a look at it as a whole, even Kimmy, as much as I like and love Kimmy, right? Kimmy was being passive aggressive, but Tisha was really being passive aggressive to me, because Tisha then somehow they got on the subject of, because Kimmy was like, you know, when it comes down to it, she's not someone that likes to talk on the phone. She's not someone that's going to call you all the time, right? And I understand that sentiment, right? Because that's how I am. I'm a texter, right? I prefer to text a person. I won't call you, but I will text you and check up on you, see how you're doing, right? I'm not one of those people that like to sit on the phone. I don't do that. So, like my best friend, she calls me. I text her. Now, sometimes we'll get to the point where, we be like, okay, we texting a lot. Let's just talk on the phone, and we'll do that. Either sometimes I will be like, okay, we texting long ass paragraphs at this point. I'll call her or she'll call me and we'll talk. And same with I can have my little cousin. I'll get to the point like, okay, girl, we gotta talk. We gotta call each other. Like I'll do that with fam. I'll do that eventually, but it's not my go-to. So then, Tisha then talks about the fact that now I do have a friend like this, right? I have a friend that is like this, and it annoys me to no avail. It's not the fact that you don't call me. It's the fact that if I realize that I'm the only person in this friendship or relationship that reaches, like if I have to be the one that reaches out to you first and you never text me or call me, then I'm good on you, right? Because I actually have a friend that's like, well, I guess I don't know what we are. I really don't know what we are. Like, we're good 1 minute. We'll text and you'll text me. There'll be times where you'll text me first and then I'll text you back. And then after a while, it's just, I'm texting you first. I'm the one that's always texting you and you never text me. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is a one-sided friendship. I don't want to be a part of it right now. So I got where Tisha was coming from in that instance. But then when Kimmy was talking about something about planning, and then Tisha was like, see, here's where I was confused. I don't know what Tisha was talking about because she would never say. So Kimmy said, I haven't planned anything. She said, oh, okay. Okay. She said it was nothing. And Tiffany tried to chime in and so did Mel. And she's like, I was talking to Kimmy, but you're in a open environment. But I just don't know what Tisha was talking about because she kept saying, they were like, Tisha, what did she plan that she didn't invite you to? Oh, she said it was nothing, but I'm still talking to her. Like, I hate when people do that. I really do hate when people do that. That is a pet peeve of mine. If you feel that I did something and I don't really know what you're talking, if I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, and you be like, oh, okay, you said it was nothing. No, don't do that. Tell me what you are upset about. Tell me what this is so we can solve it, so we can fix it. Tisha wouldn't do that. And that was annoying the fuck out of me. That's the end of the review. You guys like the video, leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified when I drop another episode, drop any other review. Share this video. Share the video, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff. And with that out the way, you guys, I hope you guys have a great night. Be safe, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Remember, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distanced, be blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. So tomorrow we have Real Housewives of Potomac, Salt Lake City, and the final season of Insecure, you guys. So until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.